What are the best weapons to use this season? Well, since we've had the weapon attachments added into the game, it has made it a little tricky to tell just what to use. But really, it all depends on how you play the game. Whether you mainly W key every player you see, or are just more of a passive fighter, I plan to explain to you today on just which weapons to pick up and what attachments to use for them. For starters, I'm going to rule out 3 variations of weapons, since to have the best options for a win, you mainly only want to carry 2 weapons at all times. Last season we had the Thunder Burst as the main weapon of choice, but as of now, SMGs are practically useless, unless you count the mythic dualies, but even then you're limited in range. Also, I'm going to exclude the pistols, even though they're very fun to use. It doesn't necessarily mean they are the best weapon to pick up, and same can be said for the Captain America's shield. You mainly want 4 things for the best chance at winning any fight given. The first being weapons for close combat, the second being long range weapons. Thirdly, you want plenty of medkits and minis and shields, and finally you want rotation. For more on the meta though, I will have another video out in just a couple of days going over it in its entirety, and a strategy that I've found to get free wins in Fortnite this season. This season for the weapon attachments, it really depends on how you play Fortnite, as I said a little earlier. Mainly going off of 2 things, so I'll ask this question right now. Do you tend to fight close range, or do you tend to fight long range? Well, depending on what is more often your approach to that question will determine on exactly what attachments you should use. For the scopes, I found myself moving a lot from the red eye sight towards the 𝗧𝓪 optic, though with the smaller sight, the red eye is just more my go-to in terms of long range aim rather than just mid range, because the 𝗧𝓪 optic kind of feels a little bit jagged and sloppy when it comes to long range aiming sometimes, so I just tend to use the red eye a bit more. Depending on if you're a close range fighter or a long range shooter, the drum mag is a great choice for close range fights in my opinion, even in case you need to reload in the middle of a fight. It's a situation that happens quite often, and it could be the savior of your downfall. Whereas to the speed mag is much better for somebody that's a long range fighter, and is great if somebody is running away and you need to reload a bunch of times. For the third section, the underbarrel, I would recommend to use the laser attachment for close range fighters, since it'll make your weapon more accurate if you don't actually aim with the weapon, and use the speed grip for long range if you happen to aim a lot in game. Finally, if it's not a sniper, then select the muzzle brake attachment, as it makes your weapon shoot more steady and generally just makes the weapon more easier to use. By the way, these attachments work with any weapon in the game if you just know what each of them do and stuff. It makes it a lot easier to know which weapons to use. Anyways gamers, until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to, like or dislike the video, and I hope you have the best day possible.
Hey! This will work out fine! No, it won't! No, it won't! How do I put on the